In June 2025, tensions that had simmered for years between Iran and Israel finally erupted into open conflict. But this was not a war of marching armies or tanks rolling across borders. Instead, the world witnessed a new era of warfare, one fought with relentless waves of missiles and swarms of drones lighting up the night skies above cities and towns. The skies over the Middle East became a chaotic and deadly battlefield as both nations launched strikes deep into each other's territory. Missiles arced overhead, drones buzzed through the darkness, and the threat of destruction loomed over millions of civilians below. This marked a dramatic escalation, a sharp break from the years of shadowy proxy wars and covert operations that had defined the region's conflict. Now, the hostilities were out in the open, with both sides unleashing their full military might for the world to see. Iran responded with overwhelming force, unleashing its vast arsenal of ballistic missiles in an attempt to saturate and overwhelm Israel's sophisticated defenses. The sheer volume of projectiles was designed to break through even the most advanced protective systems. Israel, drawing on cutting-edge technology and the support of key allies, activated its multi-layered air defense network. Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow systems worked in concert, intercepting threats in the sky while Israeli jets launched precision strikes in retaliation. Around the globe, people watched in shock and fear as this arms race turned into a real devastating conflict. The world's eyes were glued to news reports, witnessing the limits of modern technology and the resilience of nations pushed to the brink. Iran's strategy was clear: saturate Israel's defenses with relentless mass barrages, hoping that some would slip through and cause catastrophic damage. Israel's answer was equally decisive: intercept as many threats as possible, while launching surgical airstrikes to cripple Iran's military infrastructure and disrupt its ability to continue the assault. The conflict quickly escalated into a high-stakes duel, with devastating consequences for both sides. Cities were scarred, families displaced, and military leaders faced impossible choices as the cost of war mounted. As of June 19, 2025, the war rages on, reshaping the region's future and leaving the world to wonder what the next chapter will bring. Since June 13th, Iran has fired over 370 ballistic missiles at Israel in massive, coordinated salvos. The Shahed Haj Qassam missile, with its 1,000-mile range, made its combat debut, joined by Shahab-3, K-Bar Shekan, and Emad missiles. These barrages aim to saturate Israel's defenses, exploiting any gaps. Iran's arsenal, once estimated at up to 2,000 medium-range missiles, remains formidable despite Israeli counterstrikes. The attacks weren't just physical, they were psychological, sending millions of Israelis into bomb shelters night after night. Air raid sirens became routine, disrupting daily life and sowing fear. Iran's message: nowhere in Israel is safe. The campaign combined destruction with terror, pressuring Israel's leadership and population alike. The threat endures, even as the intensity of attacks fluctuates. Israel's response, Operation Rising Lion, focused on precision over volume, aiming to minimize collateral damage while maximizing impact. Over 200 airstrikes targeted around 40 key Iranian sites, using advanced jets and air-launched missiles to ensure accuracy and effectiveness. The goal: dismantle Iran's missile infrastructure and cripple its nuclear program, sending a clear message to Tehran. Strikes hit Natanz, Isfahan, and Arak, damaging centrifuges and missile factories critical to Iran's ambitions. Israel claims to have destroyed 40% of Iran's launchers, setting back its capabilities by at least a year, if not longer. High-profile IRGC commanders were also killed, disrupting Iran's military leadership and command structure. Israel's strategy, intelligence-driven, surgical, and devastatingly effective, left a lasting impact on the region. The war has become a proving ground for air defense systems, testing not only their technical capabilities, but also the strategies behind their deployment. In this conflict, the skies are as much a battlefield as the ground below, with each side racing to outpace the other's innovations. Israel's multi-layered shield, Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow, has intercepted most threats, creating a protective bubble over cities and military sites. Yet the sheer volume of incoming missiles means that even the most advanced systems can be stretched to their limits, and some projectiles inevitably slip through the cracks, causing damage and fear on the ground. Each Arrow interceptor costs millions of dollars, making every launch a significant financial decision. The high price tag raises tough questions about how long such a defense can be maintained, especially if the barrages continue or escalate. The economic strain is as real as the physical threat. Iranian attacks are designed to overwhelm, not necessarily outsmart, Israel's systems. By launching large numbers of missiles and drones simultaneously, Iran hopes to saturate the defenses, betting that quantity can sometimes defeat quality. On the other side, Iran's air defenses face their own challenges. Israeli stealth jets and precision-guided missiles are built to evade detection and interception, making it difficult for Iranian crews to respond effectively to each new threat. Israeli F-35s, equipped with cutting-edge technology and advanced munitions, routinely penetrate Iranian airspace. These jets strike high-value targets with remarkable accuracy, often before Iranian defenses can even react. Iran's air defense systems, while effective against older or less sophisticated threats, are often outmatched by the speed, stealth, and precision of Israeli technology. This technological gap leaves critical sites vulnerable. The result is a unique kind of strain on both sides. Israel is pressured by the sheer quantity of incoming threats, while Iran is challenged by the quality and sophistication of Israeli attacks. Both militaries are pushed to their limits, physically and mentally. Both sides are forced to adapt quickly. Israel refines its interception algorithms and response times, while Iran disperses and hides its launchers using camouflage and mobility to avoid detection and destruction. The ongoing battle for control of the skies reveals not only the limits of modern air defense, but also the immense costs, financial, technological, and human, of maintaining security in an era of rapid escalation and innovation. The human toll is staggering. In Israel, missiles have struck cities like Tel Aviv and Beersheba, killing at least 24 and wounding over 500. Civilian infrastructure, including hospitals, has been hit, drawing international condemnation. In Iran, over 220 have died, including dozens of civilians, as Israeli strikes devastate military and nuclear sites. The destruction of Natanz and missile factories cripples Iran's capabilities and economy. Civilian casualties are unavoidable, especially with military assets near populated areas. The war's cost is measured in shattered lives, ruined infrastructure, and a region on edge. Beneath the missile barrages, a shadow war rages with drones and cruise missiles. Iran uses drones to saturate Israeli defenses and as decoys for ballistic missiles. Cruise missiles flying low and evading radar add another layer of complexity. Israel intercepts dozens of drones daily, but the strain is constant. Israel's own drones, Harop and Heron TP, conduct surveillance and precision strikes deep inside Iran. These unmanned systems are cheaper, harder to trace, and blur the line between open war and covert action. For Iran, they're tools of saturation. For Israel, they're the eyes and precision of its campaign. The silent drone war is as decisive as the missile exchanges above. The June 2025 conflict reveals starkly different military philosophies, each shaped by decades of history, regional rivalries, and the ever-present shadow of past wars. In this high-stakes confrontation, every decision is weighed with the knowledge that a single misstep could tip the scales toward catastrophe. Iran relies on massed firepower and resilience, willing to absorb losses to inflict pain. Their strategy is built on endurance, using waves of missiles, artillery, and manpower to wear down their adversaries, even if it means suffering heavy casualties. For Iran, the ability to withstand punishment is as much a weapon as any missile. Israel, on the other hand, bets on technology, intelligence, and surgical strikes to degrade Iran's capabilities. Precision-guided munitions, advanced drones, and real-time surveillance allow Israel to strike hard and fast, aiming to neutralize threats before they can escalate. Their doctrine is about minimizing risk and maximizing impact with every operation. Yet both sides pay a heavy price, financially, strategically, and in human lives. Cities are scarred, families are uprooted, and the psychological toll ripples far beyond the battlefield. The cost of war is measured not just in destroyed equipment, but in shattered communities and lost futures. The true balance of power isn't in missile counts, but in the ability to sustain these costs over time. Logistics, morale, and economic stability become as crucial as firepower. The side that can endure the longest, adapt the fastest, and maintain public support may ultimately prevail. Secrecy and the threat of escalation, like Israel's Jericho missiles or Iran's hypersonics, keep the world on edge. The mere possibility of a sudden, devastating strike forces both sides to remain vigilant, while global powers watch anxiously, aware that any escalation could have far-reaching consequences. International pressure and alliances add further complexity. Diplomatic channels buzz with urgent negotiations as neighboring countries and global superpowers attempt to contain the conflict and prevent a wider regional war. Every alliance, every sanction, and every back-channel conversation shapes the unfolding drama. As of June 19th, the war's outcome remains uncertain, but its impact is undeniable. The world watches as events unfold in real time, with each day bringing new developments and shifting the balance yet again. The region faces a new paradigm, wars fought at a distance but with devastatingly close consequences for those on the ground. Civilians live under constant threat, and the boundaries between front lines and home fronts blur more than ever before. The strategic landscape of the Middle East has been irreversibly changed, setting the stage for a future where power is measured not just by military might, but by resilience, adaptability, and the will to endure.